Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 5 of our FTB Skies Expert Let's Play. As you'll see here in my hotbar, I've got some blocks, and we're going to just get right into it today. We're going to need a platform for what we're going to get into, and so I'm going to go ahead and just go off camera, and I'm going to build that platform, and then we will come back and talk about our peat bog farm? Question mark? Anyways, let's get into it. All right, so here we are. I don't know if I've talked about this on camera, but it is one of my more favorite tools in this game for block randomization. I learned about it from watching Chosen Architect over on YouTube. He likes the trowel, and it is cool. What it'll do is, if you have a bunch of random blocks in your hotbar, sort of like I have right here, you know how this whole area was textured like this? Well, the trowel does that for you. I used it on these stairs over here. I just can't remember, or this bridge over here. I just don't remember if I talked about it when I did it. So we're going to build the platform out with that. And so I'm going to build us a platform big enough to get our peat farm going. Right out this way using this. So I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll cut away until we have an island built. So you just, with the stuff on your hotbar, you just right click and it will randomly place one of the blocks on your hotbar each time you right click. It doesn't matter whether you're placing it in a row like this, or if you want to place one on top. So say we wanted to change some elevation, we want to go up, cool. We can just keep on building, and it will randomize from the blocks in your hotbar. All right, so I'm going to keep going with this and get us built a platform out this way for our peat farm, and we'll be right back. Here we have it. I built a 15 by 15 because the quest, which I got into, and I have a confession, you'll see it on the next screen. I did more off-camera work than I meant to. I kind of made some stuff and was like, oh crap, this is the one I'm supposed to be recording. So yeah, I did a few progression things off camera. Did not mean to. I kind of got it set up, but we're gonna get into our peat farm, and then I'll go show you my transgressions. They're over here. So first and foremost, I was like, oh hey, how can I get some power cabling? Well, for power cabling, if you come down here to your, where is it? Progression. If you go to turn it in, you can make the little task screen to turn it in. Task screen is simple. It's a book. We've gotten leather from passive mobs spawning on the island, so I made one up. If we do the turn in 10k power, which we had the ability to do after last episode because we made the peat generator together, you get 8 free cables and a basic energy cube to store power. Well, that was like the easiest way I could find to get power around, since we were going to have multiple machines that all needed power, and we may not always have peat to burn to provide power to all of them at once. So I was like, well, if I can get that power into an energy cube, I can save power for other stuff that may need energy later. But I kind of set it all up and got a little carried away. And we went over here. And I was like, well, cool. I can make this thing. It's easy. It's stuff we've already made. So light engineering blocks we made together. The glass was no big deal. Lapis we're getting from our sifting. Nether quartz we went over last episode. And pity machine frames we'd already made. So I just went ahead and made one. And then in that enrichment thing, I went ahead and made our enriched peat, which was simple, and I'll show you that in today's episode. And then I went ahead and crafted the part for the peat farm here, which was just stuff we had all already crafted. And as you can see, I didn't claim all the rewards, because right as I clicked right here, I was like, oh, I should share this with the people who are watching my series. So for that, I'm sorry. But we did do a little bit of that off camera, completely unintended. But that gets us to today's episode, where we have the peat farm. We have the dry peat bog that will turn into peat for us going forward. And then I made this aqueous accumulator because it shows us that in the plan, and we'd already gone over copper, iron, buckets, all of this. We have all the materials to make all of it, so I was like, well, there's no big deal with going ahead and just making that item off camera. So I did that off camera for us so that we'd have it ready. And in the setup, it shows using waterlogged leaves. Now, the aqueous accumulator is essentially an infinite water source. It works very similar to a sink, which I don't know if we have access to a sink yet. I should have looked. Yes, we totally have access to a sink because we have clay. And yeah, we can make the terracotta just by smelting a block of clay. So we could have done that, but this was a different way than I normally would do an infinite water source. And yeah, so we're going to use this. Now, there is a problem. I don't know how we get the water into the peat farm. I haven't solved that yet. So hopefully it will sort itself out as we build this thing. I went ahead and turned on, the F7 light overlay and, spawn-proofed the new platform so we don't get, nasty mobs trying to murder us. And now that we're all back together on stream, I'm going to go ahead and claim this peat generator and a servo. The servo actually would have been nice because I wouldn't have had to make one for the super cooler, but I did anyways. We're going to just claim all those rewards. We're going to claim this extra enriched peat, which hopefully we'll get to in this episode, because that's really why I got squirreled, was I wanted more enriched peat for another thing in a different quest line over here. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the peat farm. So if we go over this, we can W to ponder. Thank God for create ponder. It's amazing. It's going to show us how we need to lay it out. That was where I was like, oh, I need the aqueous accumulator. Now the piece we're missing is, if you look right there, that's a fluid transporter. We have not gotten one yet. I haven't looked up the crafting recipe to try and figure it out, but we have to get water and power into the bog. And then we're going to need an item collector, which we haven't made. And we can make this kind of setup right here, where it will continually, with water and power, it will replace the stuff and harvest our peat. And then we're going to use an item collector to get to our peat. All right, so let's build this thing. First things first, according to the ponder, we put our peat generator or peat farm in the middle, and then we're going to toss this peat generator on top of it. And then the aqueous accumulator needs to be 1 block away right here. We're going to put the leaves on either side, just like they showed us in the ponder. Now, if I had really thought about this, I would have honestly just put a sink here, because then it's only 1 block, and I could still use the fluid transporter to get the fluid out, and we have access to everything for a sink. But just, following the ponder. And yeah, we're going to waterlog these 2 leaves. And that's going to make this be an infinite water source. And so now the problem we have is we need to get the water from the aqueous accumulator into the peat farm. So let's go make that thing. The whatchamacallit. The fluid transporter. All right, we're going to make that. All right, sorry about that. I squirreled there for a minute trying to find ender pearls. I think we'll probably get them from a mob farm. I know the gateway pearl thing in other mod packs has an ender pearl one where you just spawns a bunch of endermen and you get, ender pearls that way. I don't see the recipe in here. They must intend for us to get them another way. Either way, we have them, and the fluid transporter is the only way that I see to proceed right now. So we need to fight some witches. I'm going to do that with you guys, just because it's, fun to kill mobs over and over and over on video doing it, because that's what you have to do for the resources. What do we have in here? Ooh, there's a chicken. Oh god, I spawned my portal on the roof. I did not mean to do that. Bad idea. Alright, I hope I don't kill both these chickens, because we could use one. Alright, last wave. And one more. Die. Oh my god. Knock him into the void, because I really just... Yeah. Ooh, look at that health, y'all. Okay, now we need to run in here. Oh, all of our extra stuff is on the roof, I guess? Oh, yep, that's where the portal was. How do we get up there? I need blocks. Help. Help, I need blocks. Send help. Don't despawn. I know I've got like 5 minutes, but I still feel the urgency. Hey, get. There we go. Yeah, redstone. All that for some redstone. Boy, I cannot wait until we can get our redstone automated. We have to get into Botania for that. We need the mana steel meshes, and then we'll be able to sift our redstone, and we won't have to fight witches all the time anymore. So, we needed that redstone for the fluid transporter. Cool, and we're going to need to make a piston, which takes redstone too. We can do that. Let's see, fluid transporter. We need a pity machine frame, which more redstone, as you may have guessed. And why it's not adding the pity machine frame, I don't... Oh, because I never made it. For those of you yelling at your screens, I'm sorry. There we go. Now we get our pair of fluid transporters. Now I've never used one of these fluid transporters before, so let's figure it out. I know that we put one there and we put one here. I don't know which one to push. This one? Haha! Look at that. Particles going that way, and water is accumulating inside of the peat farm. Now we just need one last thing in here, and this is going to be a manual kind of process early on. I don't know how this thing works. I'm hoping that it doesn't make water go everywhere like once you run out of the dry peat bog in here, but let's toss it in here. Do we have any power in here? We do not. All right, let's run and grab some peat to make some power for this. I've been making some off camera. And we don't want to use too much of the regular peat. We'll turn it into enriched peat to get better power gen, but this should be enough for our demonstration purposes. So if we hit preview here, it's going to show us. It's so weird that as soon as you turn like a certain degree, all of that disappears. But anyways, as you can see, that ring is where it's going to place all the peat down, which is good. That means it's all on our platform. Turn that preview off, and then just tell it always on. And away it goes. Let's let this thing fill out here, and then we'll get a chance to see how it works. It's finished placing all the peat, and now it looks like it's placing the water sources. It's kind of neat to watch it build all on its own. Oh wow, and look at that, we've already got some converting. Why did it not put water in those? Maybe it'll get it on the next pass. I'm guessing this thing runs like in a cycle, so it runs that same pattern we saw it building, and then it's gonna like check everything for peat that's ready to be harvested, would be my guess. I want to see it pop off some peat. Give me some peat. And you've got plenty of water. And you got plenty of water in you. Okay. Oh, there we go. Sweet. So it works. It did not fill in these two water sources. I wonder why. We can just manually place them. But there we have it. So we still need to build an item collector, which I think is a whole other process. And I don't necessarily need this running automated right now, but we are ready to go as soon as I can get that item collector built. And the reason we want the item collector is so you don't have to run around and pick up the peat that it's harvesting by hand. But as you can see, we've got saturated peat deposits right there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off again so that it doesn't continually pop these out on the ground and waste our resources. Let me make sure we've got all the ones that's harvested already. Cool. And that is the peat farm. This is how we're going to make our resources for power in the early game. I'm going to get that other stuff for the item collector figured out in between now and the next one. And yeah, that has it. So now we've got automated peat set up. And as you can see, this will just sit here and keep converting. And then when we turn it on, it'll harvest it all and it'll replace as long as we have the dry peat bog here inside the machine. So on to the rest of today's episode. Alrighty. So heading down that road to the blaze powder, which I'm excited. This is my excited face. You see how it's moving right there? It looks so excited. This is the face I make when I'm excited. Anyways, we need to do all this. I pinned it all. So first things first, we need to make a blaze burner. You guys saw me make the soul cage in 2 or 3 days ago. I don't know. It was a couple days ago. I didn't really mean to make it in that episode, but we did. And now we have our empty blaze burner. Gonna get us some quest credit. Next things next, we need to take we need to make some soul crystal shards, which we can do on our structure over there. And we have to take this apatite and throw it in there, which we should have plenty of right there. We're gonna need it in a few different stages for some of the crafting recipes. So we're gonna just go through and get 2 or 3 of each. I'll show you, like, you know, 1 of each one, and then I'll get what we need. So if you watch them, when you see it convert into the shards, you got to pull it back. Otherwise, it will keep converting. So we're going to throw another one in. We're going to leave it in there a little longer. So if you mouse and look for the item, now you see it's a soul crystal shard. Oh, now it's a crude soul crystal. Okay. And we needed that. And then if you take it and you throw it back in here, it's going to keep converting, and you can point your mouse at it. And then you'll see when it changes, there we go. Empty soul crystal. So those are the 3 different tiers. And as you saw, we got some quest credit for them. And we're going to need those different pieces for our next setup, which is how we're going to get blazes. These pieces require some other stuff that we want to show you guys on camera. We need that soul powder, which I had in the Don't Get Distracted woolly chest, and then I squirreled tonight anyways. I'm sorry if that comes across in the edit, but I do that, man. You know, I go down mod pack rabbit holes, and that's why I like modded. So we need the soul powder. We throw it in here. We need 2 of these for our quest. Gonna let them convert. I don't know why I can't see them. Did they burn up? Did I throw them into the wrong fire? Huh? I'm confused. These things. So, oh, I just smelt them. Haha, I just burned those things. All right, so we need for our pedestal, the next thing we need is a soul catalyst, which is just this soul powder smelted. Toss a couple of those in there. There you go. We need 2 of those. So we'll get those made up, and then that's pretty much it. Everything else we've covered. So give me a second, and I'll get all these pieces together. All right, so as I was crafting, I was like, they probably want to see this one. So there's one that you got to do in the mixing cauldron here. And we can add it in there. It looks like we're missing an item, though. What are we missing? Two of those. Soul crystal. Oh, it only put in one ingot. Okay, that works. So you can hit plus, but for some reason that recipe didn't load, and it needed blood. So we had to jump up and down. But that gets us our soul pedestal, and we're about to have another goat. Where you at, goat? Come on. There you are. Die. The only thing left we have to do before we can proceed to our blaze ritual is we need to, where does it tell us? One of these tells us that we need to capture a chicken in this thing, in the soul crystal shard. You'll see this one says contains sheep, but I think we can right click it out. No, oh no, it put one in there because I killed a sheep while I was holding it. Okay, let's convert another one. We need to appetite into here. Is that the right one? Nope, it's into here. We gotta go over here. There we go. Soul crystal shard empty. Now we need a chicken. So we have an empty soul crystal shard. I made this thing with our eggs and got us chickens. There we go. We killed a chicken with it on our offhand. And now that soul crystal shard has a chicken in it. We've got one with a sheep too, but we specifically need chicken for this ritual to summon a blaze. So we have to set up our soul pedestals. Oh, they gave us a soul crystal shard with a chicken. Well, now you know how to make one in case you want to summon another blaze. So we need a spot to put together our ritual. The ritual is just kind of like the mystical agriculture structures. It is not that huge. Added on to our occultism or spirit, or what is spirit? That's what this is. Spirit. Part of the island a little more, so we can set up our soul pedestals. So let's go in the middle of that line, and then, yep, that should be far enough. And then these go two out, 1, 2, there, and there. That should have our ritual, and then we need to put the one with the chicken and chicken, either one. Right click it in the middle, and then to summon our blaze. Where are we? Uses here, and then that summons a blitz. In the middle, we want the one that has the chicken. There it is. So we need 4 enriched peat, 2 coal, a soul powder, and a crude soul crystal. So the crude soul crystal, if you remember, is the second tier of the transformation. So you just throw it in there and we watch it. Appetite. You throw your appetite in. Watch it. It'll change into the shard. We let it change a second time into the crude soul crystal. Now, we're probably going to need to do this ritual a couple times, but I'm only going to show you guys it once. We're going to catch this one in our blaze burner, which we can use for all of our create heating recipes. And then if we need blaze afterwards, we can get those from others. So we go here, and then we put, oh God, not all 4 in one. We need, I didn't know this was one of the ones that you have to like individually place them. There. And then what was the next? We needed a soul powder opposite of that. Where is it? Opposite side of that. And then we needed, I don't necessarily like mods where you can like click a whole stack in when each craft only calls for one. And then now we should right click this with an open hand. And there's our blaze. And there's our blaze burner. Ta-da! let's go look at those quest rewards, because I think that is going to be a good stopping point for today's episode, because it kind of completes out this whole thing. This is a quest reward that says that I got a missing item. Cool. Oh, we get an extra blaze burner from this. Nice. And we got some blaze powder from that one, which they give us 4, which is cool because it'll let us do a few things. And we don't necessarily need that to make our infinite lava, since we used our first bucket of lava for a infinite lava setup here. Now, yes, this is slow, like unbelievably slow, but I mean, we've got 6 buckets. We haven't been like, oh, we're waiting on lava. So that is super nice. Let's go see. I think we get, we get another one. We get more arrows over there. It'd been nice if they gave us like blaze powder or some gold or something. Killed more witches, get more witch stuff. And we finally had a pig spawn, and we get energetic sheep and force shears, which I do believe that when you shear sheep with these shears, they store power, or the wool stores power. And there's a way to use those to generate power, so that could be something to look into in the future for us. But having two of these for one is really nice, and that covers everything I had laid out in our chest for me to get covered today. So we are inching in on gold. It's right over here. But we needed some of the stuff from today to get to our crystallized amber. And we do have a little bit of off-camera work I got to do. We got our 1 bee here. I'm going to hopefully get another bee, and we can get some honey production going on this front so that we'll have the honey needed. So I'm going to work on getting bees and honey together in between today and tomorrow. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you all next time.